Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back if you're not new to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a vibe coding session type of video. I'm actually really kind of nervous about this because this is my first time doing a video like this. I had this idea for an app, and if you've not noticed, there's been so many matcha themed things in this video, so we're coding a matcha community based app. I had this idea like 2 weeks ago because I'm a big lover of matcha, if you can't tell. I'm going to be sharing my whole thought process from designing the frames in Figma to vibe coding in Figma Make. My tool for today is Figma Make for vibe coding because I've used that before, but if you guys want, I can make subsequent videos and using other AI platforms like loveeee, but I'm really comfortable with Figma Make because it gives me both the code and the results, and I can just like pretty much go from wherever I want from there. A little housekeeping before we start. I typically like to plan for my projects using Notion. Right now I have a Notion page that has the entire outline of my project, the details, what I want the MVP to look like, and what I want the finished project to look like. This project for sure should not be a vibe coder project if I eventually want to release the project out to you guys, or I want to share with my friends and things like that. But for now, just so I get started, because if I tell myself I'm gonna do this full-fledged without actually vibe coding it, I actually may not like how it would look like, or there's certain features that I may not get, which is why I'm going with the vibe coding first, so I can actually design it first and see how it would be potentially before actually taking my time to actually build this in full. So the first thing I'm going to be doing first of all is to sketch, because unfortunately if I go into Figma without any idea of how I want this to look like, I would spend hours prototyping, and as someone who that has happened to before, it's not a nice thing. Basically whiteboard how I want the entire user experience of this app to be on my iPad, because that's the only way I can go into Figma with a plan. I don't really advise you just going in there with the frames. For me personally, I tend to get stuck or lost on what I'm doing, so I prefer to just make a whiteboard in good notes. So that'll be the first part of this video, which is just drawing out what I want my app to look like on a blank sheet on my iPad. Finally done with the little overview. I think that took me probably 20 minutes to finish up. I was kind of regretting doing this because I felt like that just took away the whole idea of vibe coding, which is you're not putting in too much effort. It's supposed to be a low effort kind of activity. I just stopped caring, and I was like, you know what, I just don't want to go into Figma without an idea of what it should look like, because I have the idea in my head, I just do not know how it should look like. Now that we have that complete, we're gonna head into the wonderful, the amazing, the one and only Figma, and then we'll start prototyping. I don't expect to take long in prototyping because I already have what it should look like, and I'm not gonna make it as detailed because I just want it to be an overview thingy that the AI can basically go off. So yeah, let's move into the phase 2 of this project, which is prototyping on Figma and making the Figma assets. So I have an update. I'm currently done with the prototyping, and now I'm done with the final mock-up, and it's looking pretty good, pretty decent, I would say. I didn't want to like do too much high level design, just did some basic stuff that the AI model could work off, because in the past I've noticed that if I paid way too much attention to the prototyping, it just basically slowed down my entire building process. And since vibe coding is just supposed to be something that you just prompt and like get it over with, I don't want it to be like too controlled or too detailed in a sense. But I also want a certain level of creative control, which is why I designed my prototype myself. Also because I haven't used Figma in like 2-3 months ish, so this was definitely a learning curve for me, because I had to like think of how to do certain things, and I also couldn't remember certain things like components and instances, so I had to like group my elements. So many other things that, you know, I had like forgotten because I haven't used Figma in a long time. So that was a really good way to get myself back into the phase. And right now I'm gonna try and see how I can attach my components into a new Figma make project. So that's going to be the next aspect of this video, is actually prompting the AI. So I'm going to open a new file on Figma Make and we'll get into prompting. So this is the first iteration right now. I'm not really sure how I'm feeling about this, but let's just go through it together. So it created a high fidelity prototype of matcha code, translated wireframes. To make it functional, it needs to connect to Supabase. I don't have a Supabase account, so I'm actually gonna have to do that separately right now. So I figured out the way to connect the Supabase was just to go to the settings, and then I just click connect Supabase, and then I authorize the API. Just a one-step stuff that I have to do. So go to my settings, gmail.com, 6, continue. Oh yeah, so a random code works. Username, let's say Steph likes matcha, because I do like matcha. And the password will, a random password would work. Create account. Oh my gosh, guys, this is so nice. Okay, so I have this. This is kind of what it's supposed to look like, but it's giving Instagram, and I don't really want it to give Instagram. So I can basically upload photos, but I actually do not have any photos right now to upload. So I'm going to airdrop some photos, basically, of matcha that I have in my gallery. Strawberry matcha made with love. Share. Okay, so you can actually, it's kind of like giving Instagram. It's not supposed to give Instagram. So let's see. If I save this and I go to my recently saved, I actually cannot find it there. So that's a problem. What I want to do now to improve this is, okay, then if I go back to my home feed, I'm not seeing my own post on my home feed. So what I want to do is I want to add a feature for commenting. I also want to add a feature whereby when I save something, it goes to my recently saved, because right now it's not going to my recently saved. So, all right, it says it's currently implementing those features. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you think this is an app you think I should actually take my time to build or scale for those. And another thing I was thinking about is like, what if someone steals my idea? But then I'm like, you know what? It's generally not that deep sometimes, but also that deep. So don't steal my idea without crediting me. That's gonna be theft, and I mean serious theft. But aside that, I'm not really worried about that. It's just like, probably my idea is not unique. It's probably somebody out there in the billions of people on earth that actually thought about what I'm doing right now. So just a little side project. Who knows, I might just decide to like actually build and ship it out to users if I think it's an idea people like. So let me know in the comments if this is an app you would use or like you would download. Oh, it's done. But aside from that, that's me just vibe coding. And if I do decide to like build this on the full, I'm actually gonna do a new series whereby I can make like different video parts of me actually working on matcha. But I lucky feel like vibe coding just helps me get most of the work done without having to actually like commit to the project. I do have a question though. Would you ever put like a project you vibe coded on your resume? Because I don't think I would, but I'm not sure yet. I don't know how this would look on my phone, so we're also gonna test that out because I'm really excited for that. Okay, it's done.
Editing Stephanie here. I realized filming me reacting live on my camera versus screen recording my laptop was not really efficient, so I'm just going to be storytelling what later went on with this project. Basically, I tried to see why it was not storing the photos I would save on my saved list versus storing them on the feed. So I was also trying to discover what was wrong with that. And then I was trying to see why the bookmark feature was also not working. So that's one of the things I worked upon in this iteration. One thing I learned with Figma making like just AI platforms like this is that you have to just you have to prompt over and over again, and like it's just like a never-ending process of like prompting and like adding new features. For example, I added a feature whereby I could save products to my wish list and I could repost them. Although I did not test the repost feature, the wish list feature actually really worked, and that would actually be a really lovely feature to be able to like save like matcha or like any equipment or tools that people use to make matcha that you'd like to get in the future. Most especially powders, because like there are different types of matcha powders out there and they all taste differently, which is when people tell me they hate matcha, I'm like, you've not just had the right one, because all powders taste very differently. But that's one of the things I worked upon in this iteration, and I think maybe because I was giving the AI platform multiple prompts at once, probably that was why it wasn't really working on all features. So it was like a really much of a rush to work. Like I was rushing this and being a little bit too lazy on this, but I also making sure that I noted like any little features that it wasn't doing correctly so that I could restructure the features. I think one of my favorite features was like definitely this the themes, like being able to like use different matcha themes, like the classic matcha, the deep matcha. Of course, you want to be like inclusive and use other colors. And I think with this, one of my biggest concerns was accessibility and being able to like the contrast within the fonts, because some fonts did not really go together in these themes, but I just had to maintain it. And another thing I realized was also that the pictures were not maintaining the original size. So it was kind of like cropping or like zooming in the pictures. And I didn't really like that. So I wanted to like maintain the original aspect ratio, because if you notice like with Instagram as well, it kind of maintains your original aspect ratio instead of like, it just makes your feed look more aesthetic in a sense.
It's currently 10 o'clock. Today's burning around 5, but I did other things in the midst of filming, so not too much in me. But if you watched to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked Matcha. And also let me know in the comments if you would actually want me to build this as a full-fledged project. And if you have any feedback, all user inputs is welcome, generally speaking. Like any feedback, features you think I could add, how to make it better, or what you think might make the app stand out to you, or why you would use the app, or just any ideas on how to like improve this, because I definitely want to like keep working on this if I could. Because one thing is I value user input so much. So let me know. Also let me know if you want me to like build it as a full-fledged app, because I have too many abandoned projects. But if you're watching this part, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video next Sunday. Bye.